Welcome back, and in today's video, we're going to talk about a TikTok influencer that goes by the name of Jorobe, also known as John Robert Bell. An influencer named Dylan exposed DM conversations between him and Bell. This is when Dylan was under the age of 18 and Jorobe was probably around the age of 26 years old at this time, into which he tried to talk him into getting an Airbnb with him, just the two of them. Shortly after the alleged situation surfaced, Jorobe privated his accounts and then deactivated altogether. And we're going to go over this situation. Somehow it includes that vegan teacher standing up for him. If you're unfamiliar, John Robert Bell is a TikTok star, social media star who gained fame for his Jorobe TikTok channel, where he earned over 4.6 million fans. He's best known for his reaction videos and educational content. And the most of his content was calling out other people and virtue signaling.
From contributing to the negative societal opinion of them yourself. So next time, be better.
He was also known for getting into fights with that vegan teacher. So one of the most concerning things that people bring up about Jorobe was that he was often seen mingling with younger kids, minors. He was in Zoom calls with them, he was in group chats with them, and would often suggest and say inappropriate things. I'm going to go over some DM conversations between Jorobe, 26 at the time of this conversation, with a then 17-year-old, where he was trying to get them alone in a Airbnb. And I'm also going to show you their story as well. Jorobe is on the left and Dylan is in the blue here. He says, "So who else are we wanting to invite? Not sure, it doesn't matter to me, whoever you want. It's for your birthday though. I'll see if Hannah is interested. Do you care more about the location or the house? Honestly, anyone would be fine. I'm not that picky. I feel the closer to WV, I'm thinking that's West Virginia, the better probably, like not across the country." He says, "Would you want something a little southern? It's warmer, like South Carolina or something like that." So he's talking about setting up an Airbnb with him and his friends in a comfortable setting. But the situation here is that Jorobe is 26 years old and Dylan is not even 18 years old. This is like 4 months before he turns 18. He posts one place and says, "In case we can't find any friends," suggesting that there's a possibility that it was just the two of them. And I feel like this is a strong suggestion. Dylan says it's very cheap, 100 cheaper than the other places. Jorobe says, "And then we will have lots of money to do fun things, but there would be only room for the two of us," again suggesting. Dylan says, "Yeah, that is true. Maybe get one with like 2 rooms." So he's like, "Yeah, we'll probably get something with 2 rooms." Jorobe says, "I just realized the ocean is going to be freezing, so we don't need to be near the beach." He's like completely changing subject here. But then Jorobe's like, "But still, we're getting a hot tub." So to me, I saw 3 separate occasions here where Jorobe was demonstrating that he wanted to get this young kid alone with him, but that's just what I'm seeing. Let me know what you see, or if you agree with me in the comment section below. Here's another occasion where he says, "When does Noah turn 18? He should come with us to the Airbnb if he's 18 by then." I think before me, actually. He's definitely a go. That'd be a really good idea. Jorobe says, "Yes, we need to get him into some Fortnite matches." So it's very strange. And when Dylan explains his story, it puts more perspective into this. I'm going to show you that now.
This video will be about one of the biggest hypocrites I have ever met in my life, Jorobe. Here's a picture of him if you don't know him by his name. John is a disgusting and terrible hypocrite who abuses his platform by using his clout to groom and prey upon underage boys. He has done this to multiple people, including me. John first followed me whenever I had about 30,000 followers and joined my live stream and asked for my Snapchat, so I gave it to him. After Snapchatting for a few weeks, I invited him to a Zoom call with me and my other TikTok friends, which we did daily. After about a week of John joining the Zooms, he asked me if I wanted to get an Airbnb with him on my 18th birthday, which was over 3 months away.
So 2 things do bother me, and something I didn't know until watching this. The asking of the Snapchats, we know that is a predatorial move. We've seen it on multiple occasions. It's because it's very hard to keep up with conversations on Snapchat, so it's untelling what was said. But he went into the Zoom calls with his friends, and all his friends are young minors between the ages of 14, 15 to 19, I think at the oldest. And it was only a week only a week into this that he asked him to go to an Airbnb with him. Airbnb? That's strange.
At the time, I thought it was a good idea, and initially, it was supposed to be with other people. This is him asking me who we should invite. After a few more days, I realized those were not his true intentions. He started to send me links to one-bedroom Airbnbs, and he offered to purchase me alcohol if I went. And this is him talking about the one-bedroom, and I was like, could we find one for like 2? That would be better. As you can see, he immediately changed the subject. A little over a week goes by, and then I decide to invite one of my IRL friends to the Zoom, and this is what John sent me. He knew that I did not want to get the Airbnb, so he thought if he invited one of my IRL friends, I would want to go. That's him asking when he was going to turn 18. He continued to ask me about the Airbnb for months until he just finally stopped. During one of the Zooms with all of my TikTok friends, John thought it would be a good idea to have us all take a score test and send him our results so he could see our...
So again, and this is fixing to be confirmed as well, we have this 26-year-old man that is trying to figure out the inappropriate things that underage individuals like to take part in. There's no context where this is an okay thing.
Keep in mind, the youngest was 15 years old, and the oldest were 19, and there were only 2 19-year-olds, and everybody else was 17 and below. There were 12 of us. A few months later, in the Zooms, my friends would go into separate FaceTime calls, and it felt like me and John were always left out, and he tried to convince me that they were talking about me, and that they weren't my real friends, and that he was my only real friend. It worked, and I believed him. A few days later, I got a FaceTime call from all of my friends, and I answered, and in those FaceTime calls, during the Zooms, they were talking about how John was grooming me, and whenever they confronted me with this, I was very defensive. A few hours later, I called back and talked to them, and I finally realized that John was grooming me. I decided to cut John off and not confront him about anything. I didn't say anything for the past 8 months because I thought I was the only one until recently I found out that there are multiple people that John has groomed. John does not deserve to have any type of platform because if he does, he will continue this behavior and will not stop preying on teenagers. He's a disgusting and terrible person.
Shortly after Dylan came out with this story, John, Jorobe, privated his account, and then not too long after that, he completely deactivated his account. Now, I have speculations as to why he did this, one being that he actually works for a church, and he didn't want this getting out, because there was another creator named Papa Gut, which we're going to go over some things that he said, where he came out and he said that a young 14-year-old reached out to him with a story, which we're going to go over that as well, and he said in this story that Jorobe was sending him inappropriate images. The context is he didn't ask about the age, but on several occasions alluded to the fact that he knew this person was young and most likely under the age. So my speculation is that John deleted his accounts because he didn't want people IRL in his place of work to know, because Papa Gut did put the number and contact out there for the church that he did work at, because if these things are true, then we don't want someone like this working around children. And this is to Papa Gut. They say, I saw your video and thought I should come out and say my experience. I ran a small fan account for Jorobe on my Instagram, and he even at one point followed me. I slide up on his stories from time to time, and he eventually asked for my Snapchat. And again, we have him asking for the Snapchat. I was so excited because he told me no one else had his Snapchat, this was clearly a lie, and made me a promise to not give it to anyone or tell anyone that me and him talk. Everything was fine for a while, but conversations got really weird, and he sent me a lot of dirty pictures. After he sent me the first, he would just snap me all day, showing me his DICK, even when we would have normal conversations. He said he would handcuff me to his bed and asked if I was a bottom. Luckily, I'm not as naive as a lot of people my age. I immediately started screenshotting most of these pictures without him knowing or using a hack. I was also 14 at the time. He didn't even bother to ask how old I was for any form of identification, and he would try to FORCE me to call him daddy. I'm sending you this and the screenshots, nothing else. I don't want to be in any videos or talk about this any further. You can send this to any of your friends or anyone else that may be able to help get this effort off the internet, but I don't want to speak about it any further. Please believe me. To which Papa Gut says, I am so sorry. I believe you. So this is absolutely disgusting, and the pictures were pictures of him showing his downstairs bulge area, which is very gross, which Papa Gut did censor by putting the contact to the church that he works at. There was a couple other things that Papa Gut talked about in his video, which will be in the pinned comment, that kind of just raised my eyebrow, if you will. Specifically, one being he bribed people, these being underage people, to call him hot.
Bribe the group chat into calling him hot. Yes, of course. See, that sounds like, what is he talking about? But of course, I asked what the context around this situation is. And so what had happened is he was in, I believe it was a Zoom call or some kind of a group chat, and somebody called him old. And Jorobe got offended by being called old, said that he felt that he was the same on the inside as all the other people there, 15 to 20-year-olds, and basically held everybody ransom until they would compliment him about how he's not really that old. Now, I don't even understand. See, people call me old all the time, and I say, yeah, because I'm old. Not really an insult. It's just kind of the way it is. But Jorobe getting called old, well, he feels like he's a youngster. So, of course, that's really upsetting to him. You know, he wants to stay cool with the kids. This way they'll hang out with him at Airbnbs the day that they turn 18 years old. And this is what I'm talking about. He locked an intoxicated girl out of a Zoom call for calling him old and refusing to call him hot. That was, you know, that's all what this all centralized around.
And then on other occasions, apparently he was trying to convince these kids to make OnlyFans, to which he would help them set up.
Tried to get Dylan and Riley to create an OnlyFans once he turned 18, and he'd set it up for him and subscribe. Now, I remember specifically under Calvin Brandy's post where he weirdly said, you should make an OnlyFans. He seemed to be pretty active about asking people to make OnlyFans, which is already inappropriate enough in and of itself. But of course, when you tell people who have not turned 18 yet that they should make an OnlyFans once they turn 18, yeah, we're really hitting that really good sweet spot of grooming the fuck out of kids.
Now, there are several other individuals who've come out and corroborated these stories as being true and just creepy in nature. One of Dylan's friends came out to say this.
Hello all, excuse my location as I am stepping out of work to make this video, as I'm a witness to a lot of John's disgusting actions towards underage individuals. I wanted to make a statement because these stories are very real and extremely credible. I was involved in a group who did Zooms every night during election season. We played games and we just talked. This was a group of people from anywhere of the ages of 16 to just turning 20. John, who is a 27-year-old man, was in these Zooms playing Among Us with underage people. Although this was somewhat normalized and I thought it was tad weird when I first joined the Zooms, it became really normal because there's a huge following and we have the same beliefs. This is not normal. This is weird for an adult to be hanging out with 16-year-olds. He had very real discussions with all of us about getting Airbnbs when at the time I was literally a minor. My friend Dylan was asked by John to get an Airbnb when he turned 18 for his birthday. A 27-year-old. And I haven't even talked about trauma dumping. This behavior is extremely unacceptable, disgusting, and we have to hold him accountable for his actions.
In another occasion, that vegan teacher came out and seemed to defend Jorobe, which is strange to me because they would always fight amongst each other, I'm told. And this is what she said.
I kind of agree with you. It's sounding a bit weird. I don't like the sounds of that. Apparently, he's working at a church with has access to kids, and he has also sent some pictures or something, but is it really true? You know? Papa Gut, is it true? Come on. We don't want to be spreading rumors about somebody, even if we really don't like the guy. I don't know, maybe you hate me more than you hate him, but you know, we got to be careful. It would be awful to accuse somebody of something that they didn't do. So apparently there's pictures, but is it really him?
Obviously, these things are creepy, and it would be just another TikToker caught for being not a very good person, but it's important for me to say that these things are alleged and nothing has been proved in a court of law. I do think it's very strange that he goes to first he privates his account, and then as other people start coming forward with their stories, he moves to completely deactivate his account. Like I said, I think he moved to these actions when Papa Gut came out with the story of the 14-year-old, and then found out that he also worked at this church, to which he gave the contact that church, which I understand why people would want to contact the church and bring up these types of things to them to let them know if they're aware, so they can open themselves. A lot of churches, they do this to open internal investigations themselves, which I think is very important, because if these things are true, and even if there's even a hint of truth to them, they absolutely 100% need to be investigated. So that being said, if you have any stories about this person, then you can always reach out to me on Instagram or Twitter, whichever you're more comfortable with. You can email me at repkings@live.com. Because as interesting as this is, always something more interesting to me. That's right, you guessed it. I want to know what you think. So why don't you go ahead and leave your creative and interesting responses in the comment box below. Thumbs up for those links as always, brothers and sisters. I will see you in the next video. I'm getting flashbacks of when I covered Zoe Laverne, if you guys remember that story. Another person from TikTok who was caught to be kissing and having an inappropriate relationship with a 13-year-old. Not good stuff. It's why we need positivity, turtles, in the chat. And I'd like to also say thank you to my patrons. Happy Monday. Hope everybody's having a good Monday. If you want to support what I do here on the channel, the link to the Patreon will be in the pinned comment, and you can get your name at the end of my videos as well. And that's just another way to show that you're repping, and if you're not repping, you're gagging. How you do that? I'll go to subscribe, notification turned on, be in the comment section for every single video, because I'm going to be there. Greg the Cat's going to be there, and the rest of the Repzilla community as well, and I expect to see you there too, because this channel loves you.